Have you ever wondered why some people, just by walking into a room, instantly attract attention and affection from everyone around them? They don't have to say much. They don't have to be flashy or showy. People naturally gravitate towards them when they simply show up. What's the secret? And can you replicate it? The good news is that there exists an ancient tactic originating with the Stoics that can assist you in becoming someone special. Everyone likes to sound strange, right? Why isn't Stoicism about controlling your emotions, living a moderate life, and not caring too much about other people's judgment? Exactly. And that's the key? Let's dig a little deeper. What makes us like someone? Is it because they are consistently friendly? Because they give you gifts? Or simply because they say exactly what you want to hear? You experience a fleeting attraction to someone, yet you aspire to truly win their affection. It needs to come from a much more solid foundation. Stoic philosophy reminds us that the most important thing in any relationship is inner peace, calmness, and confidence. You may be thinking, what does that have to do with getting someone to love you? When emotions do not control you, you do not strive to please everyone, and you do not succumb to a spiral of anxiety. This calmness generates an irresistible attraction. You become a trustworthy person. And when others feel that you are not dependent on their approval, they naturally feel attracted to you. Have you ever felt like people don't care about you when you try too much to please them? On the other hand, have you ever noticed that people gravitate towards you when you are authentic and unafraid to impress? This is a testament to the power of self-awareness. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us the importance of giving attention to others without expecting anything in return. In return, are you aware that this is a desire shared by everyone in any relationship? When you truly listen to others without judging or interrupting, you create a safe space for them, which in turn makes them feel valued. The more you focus on others without looking for attention, the closer and more loving they will feel to you. So how can you apply this to your everyday life? Think about the last time you had a conversation. Do you really listen to the other person, or are you sometimes just waiting to tell your story? Just being quiet and listening to their story is enough to create a strong connection. Don't worry if you aren't a good conversationalist or don't know how to make someone fall in love. The truth is, you don't need to change yourself. All you need to do is slightly modify the way you interact with others. Let them see your calmness, confidence, and listening ability. Finally, the most crucial Stoic tip is to avoid trying to win others' love. Contrary to popular belief, embracing your true self and letting go of expectations naturally attracts others to you. It's not because you accomplish something exceptional, but rather because you are authentic, composed, self-assured, and independent of others' opinions. Are you prepared to adopt a Stoic approach? You will find that when you stop trying to please everyone, you will actually attract the right people into your life. And they will eventually love you, not because you tried, but because you are you. Do you want to be a magnet without having to try too hard? The secret is Stoic independence, and it has nothing to do with being a loner on a mountaintop. It sounds strange, right? But actually, Stoic independence is not just about doing everything yourself or living alone without needing anyone else. It is not like those movies where the main character disappears into the deep forest and transforms into a superhero. There is no deeper Stoicism than that. It is emotional, mental, and spiritual self-reliance. When you know that everything that matters in life, happiness, self-esteem, peace, all come from within you and not from anyone else, then what makes Stoicism the key to attracting others? It is simple. When you stop looking to others for validation and stop relying on their compliments or nods of approval to feel valued, you create a natural magnet. Imagine yourself as a light shining from within. No need to wave, no need to blink constantly to attract attention. But why do people still gravitate towards you? People find your confidence and calmness incredibly appealing. Have you ever seen someone walk into a room without trying to impress anyone, but still get everyone's attention? That's because they're not obsessed with impressing or seeking approval. They don't need to show off or be too charming. That's the essence of independence. Instead of shouting, "I don't need anyone," it whispers, "I'm fine with myself and I don't need to prove it to anyone." You might be wondering, will they leave if I don't try to keep them close? This is fear. Many people have experienced fear, but have faith in my assurance. The opposite is true. When you stop constantly seeking attention or validation from others, you won't alienate them. Conversely, your composure and self-discipline will draw them towards you, akin to a dependable support system. Even though they may appear overly enthusiastic at times, you constantly monitor your messages, attracting someone who is completely at ease with their life. Of course, the power of Stoic independence will attract you to the confident and unhurried individual. The truth is that when you stop desperately seeking someone's attention, when you start presenting yourself as someone who doesn't rely on others for happiness, people will genuinely love you for it. We often confuse showing affection with being clingy. But Stoic independence doesn't mean you don't care about others. It just means you don't need them to feel happy or valued. Stoic independence is about creating the best version of yourself without needing constant validation from others. You don't need to check your phone every 5 minutes to see if the other person has texted back. No need to worry if they don't compliment you right away, that they're uninterested. Instead, you live your life with confidence, discover your own joy, and attain your own success. This stability and solidity will attract others, so don't misunderstand this to suggest that you should completely disappear. Stoicism does not imply distancing yourself from people. It just means that you don't have to be there all the time. You don't have to constantly assert your presence. You're still there, and you still care. But you don't rely on others to feel valued, and that makes you more attractive than ever. Ask yourself, do I want love for who I am, or because I'm trying to please everyone? Stoic independence can assist. You find the answer when you know that your value does not come from others but from yourself. You will see yourself shining brighter than ever. Others will notice and trust me. They will be irresistible there. Your Stoic independence is the secret to being a beacon in a sea of people without having to shout, "Pay attention to me." You know, the more you pursue something, the more it seeks to distance itself from you, especially in relationships. It seems true. Think about it. Have you ever had someone who was always clinging to you and making you feel comfortable? Probably not. The first thing to remember is to avoid chasing after someone. Instead, allow your curiosity to unfold naturally at this moment. Imagine you are meeting someone new. You find them amazing and interesting, and you want to impress them immediately. It's understandable that we want to be close to the person we like, but is constant texting and asking how they're doing really a good strategy? Stop and consider whether you're being too clingy. You might not realize it, but consistently trying to please them or initiating conversations can actually cause them to become more distant. It may sound counterintuitive, but when you stop being clingy and something magical happens, they start to wonder, why doesn't this person behave like everyone else? Why doesn't he text me all the time? These questions about his uniqueness gradually pique curiosity, which then transforms into attraction. It's crucial to delicately practice the art of creating distance and space, particularly when the other person begins to distance themselves. Most people, when they see the other person starting to ignore them or decrease their attention, will immediately get worried and panic. They may increase their texting, calling, or even attempt to meet up. Have you ever been in a situation like this and it didn't work out the way you expected? Probably not, because that's when you fall into the clingy trap. Instead of panicking, do the opposite. That's right, take a step back. Don't rush to win them back. Focus on yourself, give them space to think about you, and let them miss you, because when you stop chasing, you send a very, very strong message. I am confident and independent enough to not need their constant attention, and you know what happens? They will begin to question whether they are being left out. This is the difference between distancing and ignoring. You don't disappear completely. You simply stop chasing. Still present, but confident that you don't need their approval. This independence is not only attractive, but also makes you someone they respect. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a party. People are all around. Your goal is to grab someone's attention without competing. Instead, you are engrossed in enjoying the party, engaging in conversations with others, laughing, and having a great time. Then, what happens? The person you are interested in begins to develop curiosity about you. They start to wonder, what makes him/her different from everyone else? What makes them so confident? It is this mystery and independence that makes you stand out. And what happens when they pull away? Many people may experience feelings of insecurity, questioning their actions, but it's important to remember that their need for space is normal. People often require time to reflect and reevaluate, and demonstrating patience and firmness can reveal a lot about you. It demonstrates your resilience and strength to not rely on others for happiness. Instead, what can you do to enjoy life? Do what you love, what you are passionate about, spend time with your friends, and build a life that you don't need anyone else to complete. This not only makes you feel better, but also sends a powerful message. I am not required to pursue anyone, as I am leading my own life. You are aware that this is the moment at which others will begin to take notice of you. They will start to wonder why I don't spend more time with them. What are they doing? That's what makes their lives fun, and it's these questions that will draw them closer to you, not constant messages or calls. So remember this. Avoid chasing. Instead, cultivate curiosity and mystery, allowing your confidence and independence to attract the person who truly deserves your attention. However, an individual who radiates from within does not engage in games, concealment, or obscurity. It may sound confusing, but there is a big difference between disappearing completely and keeping a reasonable distance. It's like leaving the light on at night. If you continuously run it day and night, people will eventually become accustomed to it and cease to notice it. But if you turn the light off at the right time and turn it back on at the right time, you will attract people's attention. They will see it and think, wow, it's so bright. Similarly, in a relationship, we don't have to disappear completely, but we also don't have to be so obvious, always available 24/7. You can still be present, but in a natural and comfortable way, not like someone who is trying to prove themselves or pursue someone else. Let your presence be valuable, not pressured. Have you ever met someone? Is there someone who consistently reaches out to you, sending dozens of emojis when you don't respond immediately? While it may feel comforting at first, it eventually becomes oppressive. And in truth, being constantly available doesn't make you appealing. It merely ensures you're always prepared for something. No one really wants that. So what's the secret? How can you be present without coming across as insincere? It's simple. Be present in a subtle way. You don't have to text constantly or be available all the time. Give yourself some breathing space. Don't worry, it won't make people forget you. Conversely, it will intensify their longing for you, as you're not someone they can easily reconnect with at any given moment. Let's say you just had a wonderful day. Instead of texting them immediately after you get home and asking, how did you have fun? Give them some time. This doesn't mean you're ignoring them. It means you're making space for them. To remember that day, remember you and want to continue the conversation. Allow them to approach you at their convenience. Avoid rushing into contact. This conveys confidence and doesn't require a rush to grab their attention. Remember, presence is not about always being there, but about being there in a valuable, meaningful, and timely way. You can be involved in their lives, but that doesn't mean you have to be the center of everything. Be involved when necessary, but don't overdo it at this point. You may be thinking, but if I don't text or call, will they forget about me? Don't let fear control you. What you really need to do is project the image of a confident, independent person who has a life of their own and doesn't need the attention of others to feel happy. If you don't pursue them, they will naturally gravitate towards you. So, no need to disappear, but also not always available. Activate your presence at the appropriate moment. Let your presence be natural and inviting. Let people remember your craving for gifts without you having to try too hard. Have you ever thought of yourself as a cup of coffee? It sounds strange, right? But wait, let me explain that a hot cup of coffee can wake you up in the morning. Your confidence has the power to awaken others. It is not just a personality trait or a behavioral outburst, but a type of energy that draws others towards you without requiring much effort on your part. Let me ask you, Can you recall the last time you encountered a self-assured individual who simply walked into a room, seemingly doing nothing, yet captivated everyone's attention? Not because they were bragging or seeking attention. On the contrary, it is natural confidence. They do not need you or anyone else to validate their worth, and that is what makes them attractive. It is the power of confidence when you are confident that you do not need validation from anyone to feel positive about yourself. You define your own worth, and this makes others respect and appreciate you more. Think about it. Who wouldn't find attraction in someone who perpetually worries about others' approval? Only a self-assured individual who recognizes their value and doesn't rely on external validation. We admire, ponder, and ultimately find ourselves drawn to that individual. What is the first step towards achieving emotional stability? Did you know that emotional stability is a big part of confidence? The little things in life do not easily shake a stable person. Have you ever heard the saying in life, "Storms do not sink your ship"? Your response to these challenges will determine your success or failure. When you can face challenges without letting them control your emotions, you become extremely attractive. Think about the people you feel safe around. Are they the ones who stay calm and level-headed even in difficult situations, who don't overreact or get angry over the smallest things? They are trustworthy, and their ability to maintain emotional stability makes them attractive. Not only will you be more confident, but the people around you will also feel more comfortable with you. In relationships, it can be easy to become emotionally dependent on others when they smile and to feel happy when they withdraw. We experience anxiety, but when we are confident and emotionally stable, we no longer need to chase these fluctuations. Your happiness is independent of them, and this fact strengthens your position in a relationship. Who would rather be with a stable, confident person or someone easily upset by emotions? You have the ability to regulate your emotions and reactions, and when you exhibit this naturally, others will find themselves drawn to you. Remember, confidence is not something you flaunt, but something quiet, deep, and enduring. And when you find that confidence, you will find people naturally drawn to you because they know that you don't need them to feel good about yourself. Are you prepared to draw attention and maintain a busy and passionate life? Have you ever witnessed someone so occupied that you felt compelled to inquire? Where do you find time to breathe? But then again, isn't that their busyness? It's fascinating. There's something about people who live life to the fullest, who always have something to do, who are always going somewhere. You are eager to learn more about their lives. That is the power of life, a life full of passion and meaning. And if you want to attract others to you, the first thing you need to do is keep yourself busy, but not busy for nothing, but busy with a purpose. Now, I am not saying you need to cram your schedule. Not being busy means pursuing your passions, hobbies that you love, and goals that excite you every day. Being busy with things that matter makes you feel confident and attracts others to your life via your attractive energy. Think about it. Which type of person would you rather be attracted to? Someone who sits at home scrolling through social media and waiting for your messages, or someone who is busy with creative projects, hanging out with friends, and always ready for new adventures? I'm confident that you would lean towards the latter for a straightforward reason. People who lead fulfilling and interesting lives captivate us because they exude a sense of self-sufficiency, living their lives to the fullest. This, in turn, compels us to become more involved in their lives. But here's the thing. You need to make sure that your busyness isn't meaningless. Don't be busy just because you don't want to deal with your emotions or because you want to forget about others. Be busy with things that make you happy, help you grow, and give meaning to your life. Is there something you've never been passionate about? Do it. Is there a new hobby that you've been putting off? Now is the time to start focusing on building a life. Have a fulfilling and enjoyable life. You will cease to worry about others noticing you, as they will naturally gravitate towards you. Imagine yourself building a life that makes you excited to wake up. Every morning, you attend a morning yoga class, meet friends for coffee, or work on a personal project. You have dreamed about it, and every time you meet someone, your story is always interesting. Because you are truly living a colorful and endless life, you do not need to try to attract anyone's attention. They will notice you because people are attracted to people who are living their lives to the fullest. Not only will you attract others, but you will also feel proud of the life you are creating. And when you value your own life, others will value you. Therefore, the next time you find yourself excessively focusing on others, remember this. Ask yourself, what did I do for myself today? Take the time to develop yourself, pursue your passions, and create a life you love. Not only will others notice the difference, you will feel the change too. Instead of waiting for someone else to come and fill your life, create your own joy. Once you take action, everything else will follow. Are you ready to get started? Okay, imagine this. Instead of constantly relying on your smartphone, you choose to use it strategically and effectively. Don't just send a bunch of messages. Instead of calling constantly just to prolong the conversation, send a few interesting sentences that are enough to pique the other person's interest. Don't be the person who always locks the screen, feeling like a communication expert. Remember, less is more. This is the key. This may seem like a familiar rule in today's busy world, but applying it to communication is truly transformative. Instead of texting and constantly checking in, just focus on quality moments. Don't feel the need to respond immediately when someone texts or calls, because sometimes keeping a little space makes a big difference. Think about it. If you're always available to answer every call or text, it can take away some of your value. It's not that you don't care. It's that you create a space for others to truly value your time instead of showing up all the time. You show up at the right time when you really have something to say. They look forward to your texts and calls because they know that every time you show up, it's a worthwhile conversation. Have you ever heard the saying, quality over quantity? This is extremely true in communication. A meaningful text, a short but thoughtful call, can create a much stronger connection than hours of rambling. You don't have to say anything really important. You don't have to be available all the time. Sometimes keeping yourself a little mysterious is what makes others find you more attractive. Imagine a conversation where you send a message that makes the other person think they miss you. Then you leave a gap. This gap will pique their curiosity and increase their eagerness to interact with you. This is the true power of poor quality communication. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you ignore every message or abandon the other person. You're still present, but you don't have to be available all the time. This not only helps you protect your precious time, but it also adds value to each communication. The other person will realize that when you engage in the conversation, you're actually spending time with them, and they will appreciate it more. It's the secret to making deep connections without being too clingy. Less is more, and maintaining your confidence while making others want to hear from you. Remember, sometimes silence is golden, and it doesn't mean you're not interested. On the contrary, it's the subtlety of your communication that makes others feel respected and valued. Therefore, the next time you wish to write a text to an individual who is missing you, you do not need to convey an excessive amount of information. Rather, you should convey just enough to leave a lasting impression.